Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for this Mercury retrograde officially week of September 27th through the October 3rd date, maybe going into Monday, October 4th. We'll see. I have to just do a quick shout out to my parents who are celebrating their, is it 51st? Yeah, 51st wedding anniversary. It was supposed to be last year, their 50th celebration, and with COVID and everything, it didn't happen. But anyways, I do want to wish them a very happy anniversary, which is on October 4th. And let's just dive right in to Mercury retrograde in Libra officially Monday, September 27th. Now, we've been feeling some of the effects of it, like washing a headset in the washing machine and dryer. Probably not a good idea. Good thing I had a backup, because that's what we do when Mercury is retrograde. We want to make sure we have backups, and we want to make sure that we have warranties, all kinds of things like that. With Mercury in Libra, this is all about relationships. It's also about legal matters, negotiating, and values, and also, I would say, harmony and beauty when it comes to our words, when it comes to the way in which we're interacting with others. Mercury in Libra really likes to talk about the facts and using words for intimacy. If you notice, we can have intimacy in many different forms and ways. And Libra loves relationship. And relationship doesn't always mean romantic, but I will say this week in particular, romance is at its peak. And I will talk a little bit more about that. We've already been feeling it. I would say that some of us have had some interactions with others that really allow us to know that, hey, I am into you, I want you, I need you, and I want to deepen this connection in this relationship. Some of us have had things and situations, people from the past coming back to us and wanting to resolve or reconnect. That's already showing up. It's going to become more evident as the Mercury retrograde really starts to take off. I shouldn't say take off because it moves slower, but as it really starts to move in this aspect and in this motion for the next 3 weeks. And so one of the things we're going to be paying attention to is that Mercury is going to be making a trine to Jupiter throughout this retrograde period, as well as a square to Pluto. So this can give us some really deep thinking, intense interactions with others. It can also lead to sexual tension. If you're already feeling it, you may also go, I need an outlet for all this sexual tension, especially if you're dealing, let's say, with a coworker or someone that maybe you've been friends with a while and you want to go deeper than just friendship, because we've got Venus in Scorpio. She doesn't mess around when she's in Scorpio. She wants to go really deep with those emotional bonds. And very often that's expressed through sex, but it can also, again, have to do with intimacy or trust. And how do we get vulnerable with each other? And that's if we can really trust. But with this square going on with Mercury and Pluto, trust is going to be earned. And it's got to be talked about. And there's got to be some form of clarity, which is difficult when you've got Mercury retrograde, because the mind can play tricks on us. As I like to say, things are not always what they appear to be. So take your time. And we may be challenged with this square to Pluto with what we think when it comes to relationships, or what we think about what a relationship is supposed to look like, or how we're supposed to show up in it, or how that person is supposed to show up in it. Now, the gift of this Mercury retrograde is that past disputes can come back so that we can deal with them and we can settle them once and for all. I would say that this is definitely a time of make or break for us, in the sense of we can finally settle into that piece of my past is done and now I can move forward. We're going to have Mars and the Sun making a trine to Saturn this week, and that offers strength, ambition, and perseverance that we can take on some really tough things, and we can complete them in a timely manner, on budget. We're going to be looking at ways in which we can do it with perfection and precision, but also where we can find patience. I mentioned in one of my daily posts, patience is a virtue. If you can't be patient, be gentle. I offer that with this trine happening with Mars and the Sun, that patience and self-discipline actually become joyful because you may be including others. You may be working with teams, especially with Saturn and Aquarius here. And it allows you to have a way of not being distracted. It allows you to be able to encourage everyone to play nice in the sandbox and share ideas. And really, this can create a wonderful win-win situation. Mars in Libra is more passive, so it's not as impulsive when it comes, or domineering when it comes to getting its way. It's much more driven to create the win-win situations. You may also find that you're really passionate about something during this time, and you can find ways to just stay super focused on it and get it done. So again, this is more emphasis on getting things done, even though Mercury's retrograde. But like I say, Mercury retrograde in Libra is more about our relationship dynamics than it is about maybe the action. Or if it was in an earth sign where you're trying to manifest something, that's where I would say, probably a little more difficult. But in an air sign like Libra, there's probably going to be a lot of discussions that need to happen over time. You may not settle something once and for all in one conversation, but it may allow you to be able to settle it in the mind, and then you can participate in a few conversations. And with this Mars and Sun trining Saturn, whatever you decide, you're looking at it from that long range perspective. Now, the other thing that I will say is that dedication and loyalty, making decisions and then adjusting along the way, that can provide stability in your love life. So if your romantic life seems a little bit unstable, whether you're single or you're bonded, then what you're looking for is dedication. It could be, if you're single, dedicated to you, dedicated to who you want in a partner, what kind of qualities, and also being willing to stay loyal to your values and to who you are. And then when it comes to a bonded relationship, you're looking at ways, there'll probably be situations where you prove your loyalty, you prove your dedication to the relationship, to your partner, or vice versa. Now, let's talk about Venus in Scorpio. She's been in Scorpio for a good week and a half, 2 weeks now, depending on when you're watching this video. And she's making a trine with Neptune on Wednesday. Neptune's in Pisces. This is a time, and we may be feeling it Monday through Wednesday, because usually when an aspect is applying, we're going to feel it as if the pressure is coming on or the energy is coming on. And then when it separates, it starts to dissipate. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we may be feeling romantic. We may have this whole lofty daydreaming thing going on. Escaping can be very easy for us. It also can be very healing. So if you have had tension with someone, or maybe within yourself, give yourself some space to relax, to daydream, to escape the mundane, the muggle world, and just be in this place of like, if it was an ideal state, if my relationship was ideal, or my job was ideal, or the way in which I viewed the world was just this ultimate utopia, what might I be doing and what might that be? And then you can give yourself permission maybe to escape and do just that. We also have to be careful with this trine. Everything happens pretty harmoniously, but also very easily or unconsciously. And that escape could lead to substances or unhealthy practices as well. So we do want to be careful with that. But I would say that this is a great time if you're wanting to spice things up in the bedroom and you get a little more exploratory role play. All of that comes into play here. Also, some relationships or romance in particular may be kept very private, close to your chest. This is a time where there could be affairs going on. There could also be where you may have started a relationship not too long ago, or maybe you and your partner have gotten pregnant, or you've decided that you want to do something deeper, more committed in your relationship, and you're going to keep it close to your chest, probably keep it very private. And it's almost like you're being a little protective of, like, if you just have a baby, the first 2 weeks, it's really cocooned inside home and with mom and dad, and just being really isolated from the outside world. And as a protective mechanism, but also as a time for deeper bonding. And that's what I would say you're going to be looking at, especially when it comes to your romantic relationships. This is a time where you get to deepen that connection, and you have this beautiful container that you can access where you're like I have unlimited potential and power here to create, to co-create with this individual what I really want. Now, it can apply to your professional life as well, where you could be working on a project behind the scenes, you and a team, or you and a particular person of status, of power hey, I have this idea, let's work together, and you're not ready to present it yet. It's great. So the other thing we have this week is Chiron will oppose Mars, where individuation, this is where that emphasis of relationship, especially romance, comes in, but individuation may not be possible without the help of another. We need that reflection that may come up for us, and it can show up through our own wounding, but it can also come up through the healing that we've done, where a situation arises and it's like, I recognize this. Yeah, I could do it on my own, but it's so much better if I can do it with somebody that can reflect back to me, give me feedback, or can bring out the best in me. And relationships become super important to operate in our individual lives. So we're definitely going to be looking at that. The shadow side, of course, is that old wounding. Like I mentioned, it can play a part, and we can think that we're either sabotaging the relationship if we're not careful, or we say and do something, especially with Mars here, we may take an action that just doesn't line up with where you're wanting the relationship to go. So some healing is may have to take place. With Venus and Scorpio, forgiveness is a key component to deepening connection and to allowing yourself to be vulnerable. So continue to practice that if this does come up. There's also a good indication here with this opposition of Chiron and Mars that past relationships returning so that they can be healed. Doesn't always mean you get back together, but it could. But also healing can take shape in an understanding or in closure. And I would say that relationships here can also fuel us or give us some sort of life force that we can be of greater service to others. So that's how we can really utilize this Chiron and Mars opposition. We also have, and I mentioned about the Venus-Neptune trine going on Wednesday. Well, Tuesday and Wednesday, we also have the Sun in Libra trining Saturn in Aquarius. So some of us may, during this time, also receive news of an achievement or an accomplishment, something that contributes to the greater whole, giving us a sense of vitality, maybe putting us in a position of leadership down the road. It can also be where we're really energized by group ideas that have beneficial long-term effects that can allow us to take action because we've got the posse behind us, you know? And so don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to share that energy that you feel, your ideas that you have, and especially if this is beneficial to the greater good. You may also be willing to take on high pressure tasks that can lead to greater recognition and greater leadership. Again, if you're looking for a promotion or an increase of pay, that could happen here. If you're looking at it from a relationship standpoint, this is where commitment, where you and your beloved or you and that person you just started dating will take it to the next level. It also has a good indication of wishes being fulfilled here. And if you're single and you're not dating, you haven't met anyone, this is a great time to socialize. Now, I know Mercury retrograde is not awesome for starting anything new, but what you can do is you can socialize, have fun, and enjoy the dating experience, and to just take your time as you get to know the person that you connect more deeply with. Then we also have, towards the end of the week on Thursday, we have Jupiter squaring off with Venus. This can be a really positive time for that dating and social connection. So again, more emphasis because there's going to be that stimulation between expansion and wanting to go deeper. And so you can find yourself maybe being set up with somebody, or you connect with somebody from that really deep level. And so this weekend could prove to set in motion a new relationship if that's what you're looking for. Finances can increase also during this kind of transit, or a clash between being open-minded and what you're emotionally attached to. So if there is let's say a financial decision that needs to be made, and that can stir up some emotional things if you don't have what you're looking for. But I would also say that this has much more of a overindulgence in certain areas of relationship energy than it does on the financial side of it. I'm only bringing the finances in because we are working with Venus, and she does rule values, and you want to know what somebody values, notice where they spend their money. Now, again, when it comes to the overindulgence in relationships, sometimes when things are really good, we want more of it. And so we may overindulge, and we know that not everything is good that is good for us tastes good, and not everything that is good or not everything that tastes good is good for us. And so we want to be careful not to inflate or overindulge on it, because we know too, what happens is we eat too many sweets. We get obese or we get toothaches or whatnot, right? So we want modesty. And that's the gift of all the Libra energy, is Libra searching for balance. And so we may have to swing from one end of the pendulum to the other in order to get that middle ground. But I do feel as though we will be able to accomplish that if we're willing to just keep coming back to who we are, remembering our deepest truth, checking in with the body, and allowing ourselves to really share from a center of truth what's happening for ourselves individually, and being able to remember that if our agenda lines up with the greater agenda, if you will, where there's this shared kind of energy, what is it that we're ultimately trying to accomplish, whether together or separate, then we can keep creating these win-win situations. And why is it not a good thing that everybody gets to participate in the win? I say go for it. Why not? But that's my Libra moon talking, of course. All right, you guys, I certainly hope that this video helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Find me at jamiedawn.com, and I'm here if you need me. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.